Run out of the other end over there.
There's the peeping Tom. Okay, we sat out here for this.
That's causing a great deal of controversy. You can never please all the people all the time. This little building here on the left used to be the toll house, because when the bridge was built you had to pay a toll, you had to pay money in order to cross the bridge. And you see there were windows all the way around so that it was impossible to sneak past unless you were on hands and knees. So here's another glimpse, a closer glimpse of that statue, the Gower Memorial. And behind him, all the canal boats, because the big canal from Birmingham meets the River Avon at this point. But we're going to do a sharp turn to the left at the traffic lights here to go along past the theatre, parallel with the river. This is the first one. Slightly to the right there's another one, and there's another one after that, and then there are 3 streets cutting across them. It's almost a grid system of streets in Stratford. This is where at weekends we have artists and buskers, musicians and all sorts of things going on. But if you keep looking to your left you'll get a good view of the front of the Royal Shakespeare Theatre. They run a repertory of plays for most of the year. And then the next building to us is the remains of the old Victorian theatre, part of which is now the Swan Theatre. And again, looking to your left, you'll see a curved building, and that's the Swan Theatre. It's lovely. It's much more like the theatres that Shakespeare would have been writing for, with a great deal of audience participation. So this is a walk all the way along by the River Avon, of course. The pub, you see the name is the Dirty Duck, but the proper name on the other side of the sign is the Black Swan, but is always known as the Duck. We have a lot of waterfowl here, particularly Canada geese, I'm sad to say. They seem to be taking over the world. And this building on the right is now an academy for young actors. It's a new venture for the Royal Shakespeare Company, and the young actors who've been working there all summer are putting on their own production in a few weeks' time.
Yeah, no matter what, we're doing the bus.
Keep it going. Keep it going on into the church.
friends last year took a boat ride on, they just rent one of these for a month and then go across the canals of England.
Really? Yeah. And especially when they're laying on their eggs.
Oh, they're very, very. If you're near them, they'll know real fast if you're near a nest. Looks like a nice little thing.
Had the son, Mr. Harvard, dutifully died, leaving her all his money, you see. There was no other way you could make money as a woman if you were respectable other than by marrying it. So instead of finding herself a lovely, young, handsome man with all her wealth, she thought she was onto a good thing. So she chose an even older gentleman with more money for the second time. And she did it again the third time, too. So she made a career of it, really. So she had quite a lot of money to leave and sell their wares, because on top of everything else the poor farmers' wives had to do, like having the children and cooking and sewing and making the ale and cleaning the house, they looked after the dairy produce. They milked the cows and made the butter and the cream and the cheese, and they kept the hens and fed them and collected the eggs. So their reward was to come in once a week to the butter market, where they could have a really nice girls' day out and catch up with all the gossip. We're going to turn left here, and this will take us up at the back of Shakespeare's birthplace. John Shakespeare was a glove maker by profession. So on the left-hand side, as you look at it from here, was the workshop and so on, and in this yard would have been the tanning facilities and wells and things like that, which helped enormously. Now, this was one of the houses on this site, which we now know belonged to a man called Palmer. But what it shows us is the way the construction of these houses was done. It was done with timber framing, oak, you see, everything held together with oak pegs, no nails, no screws, nothing like that. And the more oak you had in your building, the more money you had, because oak was expensive. Very often, if you go around the back of a building, you find that the timber is much more widely spaced. It's sort of putting everything on show at the front. But this house was built by a man who wasn't short of a bob or two, as we say, because there's a lot of oak there. And all these houses, which were put up in the sort of 1400s, would have been built like a barn, really. Nothing else inside, earthen floor to start with, and perhaps some rough divisions downstairs. But as time went on, expectations got better, people had more money, more knowledge. They then put in bedrooms in the roof, then they divided up the downstairs into different rooms. They put in windows much later. They were originally just holes with shutters at them. So this really, in capsule form, is the kind of history of a house of this sort, and it's not many that are left in the natural condition like this. You can go inside there. Do look at the building on the extreme right, because that is a dovecote. Now, the lovely sagging roof there hides the fact that there are 600 pigeonholes there, so there are room for 600 nests, and there's a central revolving ladder so that you could go up and take the eggs and so on. Now, we do know from records that a farmer or a landowner was only allowed to keep as many doves or pigeons as he had acres of land, which was a very sensible ruling, because otherwise your doves and pigeons would go and eat all the grain from your neighbours' farms, you see. So that was a good ruling, really, when they started on it. It's lovely to see it looking so nice. Incidentally, we put the wire netting, or chicken wire as you call it, on top of the straw in order to keep out the birds.
Tim, why don't you let people scoot up a little so they can walk behind you?
It's this one right here.
Move on down a little ways.
This is in halfway right here.
Right. Suzanne has. That's her.
Come down here a little bit.
My mother in front of this cottage.
Oh, do you really? Yeah. We'll have to get your picture in front of that instead. Isn't that lovely? Sorry. Put on the mirror.
Thank you. Yeah, it should be good. Just one sweep.